How you doing, guys? Bioinformatics guy here with another video, and in this video we will be talking about conditionals. And there are three basic types of conditionals, and before I move into the details of the conditionals, I would like to give you an example and explain this concept. So in real life, you know that sometimes you have to make decisions based on the certain given conditions possible. And the example that I would like to give you from like bioinformatics is that you know that in bioinformatics the most important thing is the DNA sequence, and you also have RNA sequence. And suppose that you check that whether if it is a DNA sequence, you perform a set of functions, or you do a few things like checking the GC content of the DNA or something like that. If not, then you go for something else. So in Python, you will be like, if it is DNA sequence, do this, this, and this, otherwise do this. So with that in our mind, let's start coding. As I told you that there are three basic type of conditionals. First off, we have if, then we have if else, then we have if and else. So we will be talking about all of these, and let's start with the if condition. If, then you will write some expression over here. Expression is basically the thing you want to test, and then you will have some statements over here, and these statements could be the things that you want to do. Now let's take a look at the example of a code, and so this will be the code for if conditional. All right. And oh, we don't need to run it at the moment, so let's define two variables. So we will, for the sake of simplicity, I'm not gonna go into bioinformatics examples. We can do that later on. So we will define two variables, a, and we will keep its value 10, and then we can also define another variable b, and we can keep its value 100. All right, so now we want to check that if a is less than b, okay, so that is if this if and this if is same, and then this expression is this expression, a is less than b. And now we have to write down our statement. That would be print. We can print something, and we will say that a is less than b. All right, so if I run this code, you see that a is less than b is printed. If I change this value, let's say I make a bigger than b, like I make 1,000, then nothing will get printed. So this set of condition will only print if print a is less than b if a is less than b, otherwise it won't print. So that's like a very basic example. Okay, so let's do a bioinformatics example. So I will add another block of code, and for this example we will be importing our function from our dictionary or our list of functions, the file we created in the last video, in the code organization video. If you haven't watched that, you can go and check that right now. It would be helpful for you. So we will import from py for binf. This is the name of our file. We will import validate base sequence. Okay, and let's run this. See, yeah, everything is working fine. So we will define a new variable seek, and we will name it ATGC. So we have a DNA sequence. So now we will check that if validate base sequence, and we will give it our seek, and then we will print. What should we print, guys? we should print that this is a DNA sequence. Okay, so if I run this block of code, what will happen? It will print this is a DNA sequence. Okay, now the thing is, if I make it 80, if I write some invalid characters over here, so what will happen? It won't print anything. But now the thing is, if it's like something else, you don't want to be like doing nothing, you want to do something else. For that, we have another conditional, and that is known as if else. Okay, so the basic structure of if else conditional is, if we will write some expression and then we will write our statement, and this will be statement 1, and then we will go for the else conditional. So if this expression is not fulfilled, then do something else, and here we can write another statement. All right, we can add a new code block, and let's take a look at example of code. I'm going to define another array variable. So if a, we keep 1,000 and then we keep b 100 this time, and now we check that if a is less than b, then print a is less than b. Okay, otherwise this time we will go in the else condition, we will print a is greater than b, and if I run this code, you will see that a is greater than b is printed right now. And last time when a was greater than b, nothing was being printed. And if I make this a less than b, like I make this 10 and run this again, then it will print a is less than b. So our conditionals are working perfectly fine. And now I will like to share a bioinformatics example, and for that we will define a new seek. Seek is equals to axgc. Okay, and we will use our same function if, and we will use our same function validate base sequence, and then we will give it our seek and we will print something. What will we print? We will print that this is a valid, we have to put it in inverted commas, this is a valid DNA DNA sequence. All right, and now if, and we know that this is not a valid DNA sequence, and then we will go into the else condition, and then we will print that this, okay, then we will print that this is not a valid DNA. All right, okay, now let's run this, and it is saying that this is not a valid DNA sequence. If I make it T, then it will say that this is a valid DNA sequence. So our if else condition is working perfectly fine. If I take an example of this AB again, and we have defined A is equals to 10 and B is equals to 10 as well, what will be printed now? You will see that this is printing A is greater than B, which is not really good. So, and we need some other stuff to handle this kind of situation, and for these kind of situations we have an other conditional, and that is known as if, elif, and else conditional. All right, let's define a new markdown, and the basic structure of if else if and else conditional goes something like this. If expression 1, then we will have statement 1, and then we will have elif expression 2, and then we will have statement 2. This is going to be statement 1, this is going to be statement 2, and then we can add another elif. So elif expression 3, then we can have statement 3, and we can have as many statements as we want over here. And at the very end, sorry for this, at the very end we can have our else condition, and then we can have our final statement. All right, let's take a look at the code for this. This is a markdown. We need a code block over here. Now we will define a is equals to 100, then we will define b is also equals to 100. Then we will check if a is less than b, then print a is less than b. And then we will check if a is greater than b, then print a is greater than b. And else, now we have checked both of the conditions, we can go for the else condition, the final condition, and now we can print that a is let's put it in inverted commas, a is equals to b. All right, and if I run this, I will get this a is equals to b. Now I will have another example for you, the most interesting example for today's video, this will be the last example, and this is a bioinformatics example for if, elif, and else condition. We will define seek again, and this time we will keep it AUGC. All right, and I guess you have noticed this correctly, that this is not a DNA sequence, this is not an invalid sequence either, this is a valid RNA sequence. And for this we will again check that if, then we will validate base sequence with C, and then we will print that this is a valid DNA sequence. And you know that we might have been repeating the same code over and over again, but the thing is that this is for the sake of explanation. Then we will check that elif validate base sequence, and now we will check it with the RNA flag. And you remember we have this boolean RNA flag, and now we will keep it true, and then we will print that this, I always forget that, this is a valid RNA sequence. All right, and even though if it is not fulfilled in this condition, like if we will have some character which is not even in DNA and not in RNA, we have to handle that condition, and we can handle that by using else condition. And in else condition we will print that this is not a valid DNA nor RNA sequence. Alright, and if I run this code, I will get this, that this is a valid RNA sequence, and if I enter an extra character, then I will see that this is not a valid DNA nor RNA sequence. And if I make it a DNA sequence, then I will get this, that this is a valid DNA sequence. Now as you might have noticed that over here in the expressions we have just done very simple thing like printing the stuff, but here you would like to call different functions, you would like to perform different kind of analysis based on different conditions. So that's pretty much it for this video, and I would like to tell you that the book away is still going on and you can take part in the book giveaway by just going to the video, subscribing my channel, and then writing down in the comments that you are interested, but not in this video. I will share the link to that on the top of this video. You can go over there. So if you have any questions, comments or concerns about this video, feel free to comment down below. And if you want to join our Bioinformatics guys community, which is a Facebook group, you can find the links just below the like button. Apart from that, you can get the written explanation and the code script on the website bioinformaticsguy.info. And if you want to know what I do other than programming, you can check out my vlogging channel. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I will see you around in the next video. Bye bye.